Is it true that the president could not bring himself to that point of shaking hands with his deputy president? Yani, this beef between the two, is it so serious that hata salamu ya Mungu, salamu za Mungu, yeah, cannot feature? That is what my show is about today. And I think, or rather I believe, what I have to say will be totally unexpected. Yeah, it's not what you expect. Because much has been said about this incident that has hit the headlines virtually across every social media platform. People have said many things. Yeah. People have gotten excited. Others have gotten disgusted. Yeah. But as you know, on this channel, we face the cold, hard facts. We try our best to arrive at the truth. And the truth may not always be very exciting or very entertaining, but it remains the truth. Karibu sana. Now, just a quick question from my book, Let the Blood Flow. And today's question is very simple. What single thing happened at the ICC that proved beyond any reasonable doubt that actually the ICC cases were based on what unfolded during the 2008 clashes, during Kenya's darkest hour? That actually those cases told us, gave us a picture, a true picture of what really unfolded, including what many did not want to think, that somebody actually reached into their pocket and removed money and financed things, so that Kenyans could be maimed. Na wengine wachinjwe kama mbuzi. Oh boy. So what single thing happened at the ICC that proves that beyond any doubt? If you don't know the answer, please stick with me right up to the end, where I will reveal it to you. Well, let's get our show on the road today. Enjoy! Whenever President Uhuru Kenyatta meets his deputy William Samoei Ruto, Kenyans are always paying very close attention to how they interact. And this is for obvious reasons. Everybody in Kenya knows, in fact everybody in Kenya and well beyond knows, that the president has fallen out with his deputy. It is not a secret. In fact, this happened a long time ago. 2016, according to me. But the president and his deputy managed to keep up appearances until more recently, when it has become more and more obvious that there's an issue. Now, the recent incident where the president failed to shake hands with his deputy has caused quite a stir amongst Kenyans. Surely, hata salamu ya Mungu. How serious is this thing? How serious is this misunderstanding between number one and number two? Because this latest incident would suggest that the president cannot stand his deputy, to the extent where he cannot shake his hand. Cannot bring himself to shaking his hand. But is this true? Is this really what happened? Actually, I have reviewed the clip in question very carefully, and I now want to share my thoughts with you, because it is quite possible things are not what they seem. The president got out of his official vehicle. The first person to encounter the president was a soldier who saluted. And then I noticed something. The president was thinking about shaking the hand of the soldier after he completed his salute. He almost extended his hand, but then decided instead to use the gesture for greeting, where you hold your two hands together and bow slightly. And then, of course, the next person in line was Deputy President William Ruto. And therefore it was easy for the president to give the same greeting to his deputy and move on. And very instructive, the First Lady, was following the president, did precisely the same. I have reason to believe that on this particular day, the president had a lot on his mind. Of course, presidents always have a lot on their minds. That's normal. That's their work. But on this particular day, the load was extra. Because even a few moments later, something else happened, which most Kenyans missed. The president went directly to his seat. But then a soldier, who was following him very closely, ushered him away from his seat and closer to the edge of the podium, where he was supposed to stand for the national anthem to be played. Now, this is not like the president. The president normally comes to these functions, very prepared, and follows all the protocol, all the planned protocol, seamlessly, and without any hesitation anywhere. But this day was different, obviously. Bottom line, in my opinion, I do not believe that the president failing to shake the deputy president's hands had any significance. In my opinion, and I could be wrong, the president did not emerge from his official vehicle, set in his mind that he will not shake the hand of the deputy president. I don't believe that is true. Things just happened. And I think from what we have already said, you can tell, it was a chain of events that led to this thing that has made headlines right across social media. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying number one and number two are buddies. I am not suggesting in any way that our president and our deputy president are still bosom buddies, very close. No. In my view, things remain the same. And indeed, they have escalated, with all the emotions that are bound to come into play as we go into the heated campaigns of a major general election in Kenya. Because I believe the deputy president's remarks in his speech at the same function were above directed at the president. Because William Samoei Ruto told us that Kibaki is the best president Kenya has ever had. Even if that is factual, that is not the kind of thing to say in front of your boss. Picture the following situation. Your old boss leaves and you get a new boss. And you have a function where people need to make speeches. And therefore you get up and you say the previous boss was the best boss that company has ever had. And the situation is such that your new boss has already served enough time for him to be judged for his abilities. What do you think your boss will think? What do you think your co-workers will think? There's some things you just don't say. It's common sense. Because this is not a campaign rally. People are not asking for votes at a send-off service for number 3. Kenya's third president. You're not supposed to be asking for votes there. You're not supposed to be playing politics so that people see you to be better than another candidate. or in this case, better than the current president who is sponsoring your competitor. Yeah, and you hate them for it. This is not the place. Because the focus is supposed to be in celebrating the life of the departed. Number 3. Period. And looking through social media, I am not the only person who noticed this. Yeah. And who clearly identified it as a barb, yeah, aimed at the president by his deputy. A barb aimed by a subordinate targeting his boss. That's really what it was. So bottom line, nothing has changed in the relationship between the president and his deputy. In fact, things have escalated. They're getting worse day by day. Yeah. Now, all weekly intelligence briefings members, yeah, are in a discussion group, an email group, yeah, where we always discuss various issues. And many of you have always told me that you've learned a lot from me. However, you have learned nothing from me in comparison to what I have learned in this group. Yeah, very great minds and very experienced people. Because let's face it, can you compare the experience of one person to the experience of dozens of very wise, experienced people? You can't. It's just one against many. Anyway, the other day, very recently, there was a discussion on the true legacy of Mwai Kibaki, number 3. And one of my great dear friends and a great supporter of this channel for a very long time, yeah, really roasted me for the video I did recently on the life of Mwai Kibaki. I mean, this guy really roasted me. Eh? Ile nyama choma, well done. Si ile mbichi mbichi, ile mechoma kuchoma. You notice I'm laughing. Yeah, and it's a sincere laugh. I was not hurt. I didn't feel belittled. Why? Because debate is healthy. And getting various different views enriches us all. That is what many people don't seem to know. In fact, isn't it your best friend who tells it as it is? Yeah, doesn't hide things from you. Tells you, yenyewe Chris, there, you messed because of 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you become enemies after that? Do you just prefer Chris Kumekucha sycophants? Yeah, who tell Chris all the time, you're right. Oh, Chris, you're a genius. Chris, you've got it right. Do you prefer those ones? And then you make enemies of the people who tell you the truth as they see it? No, that's not how it's supposed to be. My prayer is that as we go deeper and deeper into this very emotional campaign season, as many Kenyans as possible will be able to begin to appreciate emotionless debate, where you're just using your mind to give solid points to support what you're saying. And there are no insults there at all. Yeah, it is a very enriching, enjoyable experience. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So this guy really roasted me properly. And his view is that Mwai Kibaki, the departed, has absolutely zero legacy to leave behind. And in fact, he left Kenya a worse place than he found it. That's what he was really saying. And those are his views, and I respect them. And many weekly intelligence briefings members agreed with him totally and supported what he had said. I think there's about 1 or 2 who did not entirely agree. And they said what I said in my video, that there's no human who gets 100 out of 100 in their life on this earth. Indeed, I don't believe there's any human who even gets the pass mark. Oh yes, I believe the pass mark would be something close to 50%, maybe 40. Yeah. And therefore, it is not practical, and indeed it is not fair to judge a man only based on the evil in his life that stands out. Yeah, because every person has a good side. In my opinion, I believe it is always best to be balanced. Yeah, to also give the good side. And by the way, if you're a leader, an influential leader like Kibaki was, definitely some of the good things you did will stand the test of time. They'll benefit Kenyans long after he's gone. That's the truth. While we're still there, I think I appreciated the eulogy of President Uhuru Kenyatta the most. It was very balanced. He told the truth. He did not avoid uncomfortable topics like the 2008 clashes, yeah, or the demotion of Kibaki. He told us everything while keeping it very balanced right up to the end. I think that was a very brilliant eulogy. But then emotions kick in. There are many people who don't like President Uhuru Kenyatta. There are many people who don't realize President Uhuru Kenyatta's brilliance. Yeah, they focus on the blunders only, yeah, which is not fair. But hey, it's okay. Yeah, everybody is allowed to have their own opinion, their own firm stand. That's okay. There's nothing wrong. I'm not going to hate somebody for doing that. Indeed, I'll always respect them even more, yeah, because they speak their mind. You know, there's this other very bad human habit where people pretend, and we're told pretenders are worse than murderers. Something else is going on in somebody's mind, and then they speak the exact opposite. And if you look at their body language carefully, you can see it screaming. But unfortunately on social media or online, you cannot see the other person's body language. Very difficult. Even in a video call, it may not be easy to see what their body is really saying, which is always the truth, because body language never lies. Anyway, my point here is that in sharp contrast to the eulogy the president gave, Deputy President William Samoei Ruto's remarks were really a campaign message, yeah, cleverly disguised as some kind of eulogy. The whole idea being to position the deputy president and make him look as presidential as possible. That's how I read the whole situation. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. Now I already have my crash helmet on. Because I can already hear somebody screaming, Chris, you hate the deputy president. Now what is wrong with that? What is wrong with what the deputy president said? Chris, you just hate this man. Well, let me tell you what I think is wrong, what I believe is wrong. I value very strongly something called being sincere and consistent in your sincerity. You cannot be sincere, you cannot take the approach of always being sincere and fail to be consistent, yeah, in your response to various things you come across. President Uhuru Kenyatta, at one time in his political career, has criticized the president. Number 3, yeah, the late former president. But President Uhuru Kenyatta's eulogy was sincere and consistent with everything he has said in the past, including his criticism. Can you say the same about the deputy president? The same man who said that Kibaki was a disaster as president. The worst president Kenya has ever had. That's what he was really saying at one point. Can you imagine playing all those clips, the nasty things he has said in the past about Kibaki, and then at the end you play this clip of yesterday, where he says Kibaki was the best president Kenya ever had? What would be a reaction if you're not a supporter of UDA? You just wonder, what does this man mean? Which of those remarks were sincere and which ones were not? You get very confused, yeah, because somebody is not being sincere. And this way the deputy president has always been accused, of doublespeak, of not being consistent. He says one thing here, he says something else somewhere else. He says one thing today, he says the exact, precise opposite of that thing tomorrow, or even in a few hours' time. And this is the man some Kenyans are convinced is the best choice for the 5th President of the Republic of Kenya. Good luck to them. But I'm certain what I'm saying will stand the test of time. Sincerity. How sincere is the leader you want to choose? How sincere is the leader you're considering electing? Those are very important questions. One thing about Mwai Kibaki is that he was sincere from the beginning right up to the end. He made terrible mistakes that cost the country big. But he also did things that lifted Kenya to a higher level, to the next level. And also he was the kind of person who had a very thick skin towards criticism. He didn't care what people thought. He didn't give a hoot what your opinion is when he was governing. All he wanted was to deliver results. All he wanted was to get done what he thought was important for the country called Kenya and had to be done, no matter how difficult it was. That is the truth. The president greeting his deputy president warmly, when things between them are bad, may not be sincere. But then, there is nothing wrong with greeting somebody. There is nothing wrong with showing somebody that whatever you have, the differences you have, are not personal. That's not being insincere. Although in this case of our president and his deputy, too much evidence has emerged showing us that it is very personal. The difference between the two, very, very personal. And that is why it was very easy in the recent incident for people to say the president deliberately refused to shake the deputy president's hands. He didn't want to shake his hand at all. Is that disgusted with his deputy? It was easy for people to say that. Although, of course, I believe the contrary. And I've explained why. Now, very quickly before I go to answer the question I posed at the beginning, the one thing that happened at the ICC that should have proved to Kenyans that the ICC prosecutions were based on fact, even if the individuals paraded were not the most responsible, or maybe they were, I don't know. But the issue I'm emphasizing here is that it was true what happened in Kenya, that the clashes were financed. The clear evidence to prove that was the fact that witnesses were bribed. Witnesses recanted the statements, withdrew, changed their minds about what they had said. That is usually a clear, very clear indication that what the witnesses were saying was nothing but the truth. But then outside forces were very determined that the evidence does not stand. They were very determined, ready to do anything, offer cash, even murder witnesses, so that a case could not stand. And that clearly tells you, kulikuwa kitu hapa. The ICC were onto something. Now you can see details on your screens on how to get that classic book of mine, Let the Blood Flow. We have a special offer. The window of opportunity continues to narrow. Please hurry and take full advantage of this. And those many of you who have already taken advantage of it, let's have a comment from you. What is your view on the very explosive information you found in that ebook? Highly sensitive information, in fact. Please leave a comment below. Even if it's a negative one. Even if you learned nothing new, leave a comment. It's good to get a discussion started. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.